Let's talk about the idea of waiting for your life to start without actually realizing that you're already living your life. And the time that we have spent, just think of the last year. I feel like some of you might perhaps have gone like on a holiday in the last year and then you feel like, well, I actually did spend my last year quite well. Maybe some of you have achieved something really good last year and you're like, I actually did spend last year well, but still think about it again. And has there been like something that you wanted to do or like an idea, something that you haven't grasped yet because you're waiting for the perfect time? And by the way, I'm not saying this as someone who's perfect. I noticed this in myself and I kind of just noticed the years passing, the years going. I think it was like at a point when I realized I was like, how old am I? And I'm like, am I that old? And it was just really surprising because I thought to myself that at this point in time, perhaps I would have achieved something else. And I also didn't really realize that I was already that old. I wrote a Substack article about this. The idea and the phenomena to say of waiting for your life to begin. Now, hear me out. Let's break this down. We have desires, each and every one of us. A desire to start a new skill, a desire to complete a task, a desire to go somewhere, a desire to see someone, a desire to be a certain person. In my case, I would say it was kind of like I was dreaming of the places I would go to, the holidays I would take, the travels I would take, not just to relax and chill, but like to make those experiences, to experience those things. And while there are constraints, of course, like passport privilege, finances, a certain time in your life, if you're free at that point in time. Oh, damn, I need to be comfortable in order to talk about this. While there are constraints like that, I felt like either I hadn't taken enough steps to get me to that point, or I was pushing it to the future me. The future me was the one who was going to deal with it, and the me in this moment could just dream about it, which made me realize that the me in this moment was also the same me 5 years ago, dreaming about it, pushing it to the future me. I was like, so when exactly am I going to start living my life? And I saw someone who had gotten cancer talk about how they hadn't started to live their life and to do everything they wanted to do until they actually felt sick and they realized that, they could die at any point in time. And I was thinking about it, if we got the chance to do this life again, would we still do it well? You see, because someone who has gotten terminally ill, nothing else matters to them, not the school, not the job, not anything else. The only thing that matters is getting well. There's this saying that we have where it goes like, you can have all the problem in the world until you get sick and then you have one problem. And so I was like, for someone like that, all the constraints that have been put on you, I need to go to school, I'm already in school, I need to complete school, I have my exams to do, I'm at work, I can't take time off work because, we have specified holiday days and this is this is like a busy period at work, we need to be here. The person who is like, there's this goal I need to achieve and I need to be focused, I can't just take time off to leave. Those are constraints, and I would say they are valid constraints on your time that would make you say, okay, this is not something I can do now. But at the same time, it's like, when is it ever going to be enough? Like, when are you actually going to get that time to do it? And I'm saying it as someone who is still trying to figure out that time, because right now, I just became unemployed. I don't know why I like to ring that alarm every single time I make a video nowadays, I don't know. And I'm applying for jobs right now. I'm also doing my master's at the moment. So I'm not really in a position to just up and go and be like, oof, I'm out today, see me Japan. Funny enough, before I actually lost my job, I was talking to one of my friends who lives in Shanghai. And I was like, I want to come over and I would like to visit you first. And it was like a plan I was making. But then I lost my job and I need to be financially secure. So that was not even a plan that I was looking at anymore. I'm like, this is a very valid constraint. But I was trying to find what point, what space, what point in time is perfect. Perhaps not perfect. Perfection is what would keep you from even trying. Good enough for me to actually achieve these dreams. And I don't know. And then I thought of the person who was sick. And I was like, this person who is sick right now, if they got the opportunity to, get better, be healed of their sicknesses, and they went back into the world, now the expectations that the world has for them will change. Because when you're sick, your school isn't expecting you, especially when you're sick with something terminal like cancer, your school isn't really expecting you to always be there. Your professors would be lenient with you. They would hopefully be lenient with you. Work, I don't know how it works, but from what we know of the corporate space, I would say you could either get time off or you could be laid off. So now, like, those expectations have been dropped. Now, once you get back and you're healthy, those expectations come back. They could either be put on you by yourself, your family, people around you, or society itself, because it expects you to get back and moving and back on that hamster wheel, to be someone, to contribute to the society, to not be a bum, to not be at home. And then you're just back at that same place, which is like, when I was sick, all these things I wanted to do and all the things I hadn't done flashed before my eyes. And now that I feel better, I want to be able to do those things, but I'm back at the same place that I hated before, or maybe a similar place. And then it reminds me of when you hear like a very inspiring quote, and you're really inspired in the moment. It's so inspiring that for the next few days, I wouldn't really say week, I don't know how disciplined you are, but for me personally, I know myself, for the next few days, you're inspired, you live your life a little bit according to this quote, and then you forget about it. 1 month in, you probably can't even really remember the full quote again. And it feels like that, kind of like being so deeply and fiercely inspired in the moment, or like you get this vision. What's the word that they use for it? Honestly, nowadays, because I speak German, I kind of like forget English words. What's the word I'm looking for? Let's not waste your time. Let's think of a different word. You get so inspired. It's like eye-opening, like a revelation. You get like this revelation and you're like, this is the way of life. This is so eye-opening. And you are influenced and you are like upbeat for a certain amount of time until that high leaves you. All of this, I'm trying to say, are constraints that are valid and are constraints that we can really look forward to expecting or seeing or experiencing. How then are we supposed to exactly live our lives in order to not be waiting for the perfect time, waiting for the perfect time to go to that dance class because you want to be a dancer, waiting for the perfect time to start going to an acting school because you want to be an actress. Matter of fact, I also have like a midlife crisis that has happened to me recently about being an actress, but that's a different story for another day. And I was talking to my friend recently concerning this midlife crisis thing, not exactly waiting for your life to begin, but it kind of connects. So I was talking to her about it, and then we're talking about how just starting from where you are. While of course people have different starting points in life, and people have different circumstances that might have led them to where they are, different opportunities, different informations that were available to them, it doesn't change the fact that you are where you are at the moment and they are where they are at the moment. So in order to move from where you are to where you desire to be, you need to start from somewhere. And when it looks so big, like there's nothing you can do, and like you don't understand it, example, you want to be a singer or you want to play in an orchestra, perhaps the first thing to do would be to book a class, a really simple class for one day to learn how to play the piano. Start from the basics, look online, search some videos, take 1 year to just treat it as a hobby and really go into it. The next year you could start doing competitions. You could even start it in the first year if you're really impatient and stuff like that, and start step by step. So then what is then the perfect way to stop waiting to start your life? It connects to what I just said in the sense of starting from the smallest things. Is it a job that you hate and you really want to leave? Okay, start looking for a new job slowly. I'm trying to think of, there was a job that I once hated. Let me think, what would I have done now using this mindset now? I would have obviously come to work every day. I would try to find the good things about my workplace. I would stay positive and always smile. Now that doesn't mean that people won't be difficult, but because I know I have a plan and I have a time frame, I would save enough so that if I do leave and I don't get a job immediately after, I am financially stable enough. In the meantime, I would be looking for options while having this financial stability, and then find something that, really speaks to you. There's also this saying that the best place to look for a job is when you have another job. The best place to look for a job is when you have security. And I'm saying this for people who, of course, don't have like the financial stability to just up and go and be like, I'm out and I know I'm completely okay even if I go out. The next thing would be if I wanted to travel the same way I want to travel right now. I'm not at a place where I can up and go. Example, I mentioned in the beginning, there's something called passport privilege. And I know some of you don't understand what I mean. I mean, like if you're from Korea or like you're American or even German, I believe, you might not really understand what passport privilege is because you haven't experienced the other side of the privilege. But there are people from so many other countries that they cannot just up and go to a country to visit and come back. They've got to apply for visas, they've got to pay for visas, exorbitant amounts, by the way. They could be rejected, most likely will be rejected. There's so many other things to take into consideration. But let's assume that these things are out of the way. No, let's not assume that you're out of the way. Let's not assume because it's not out of the way for me. Let's see. If I wanted to travel now at this point, mind you, I'm not a native German. I don't have a German passport. I will use my own national passport, which, by the way, doesn't give me passport privilege. And I decide to travel to, let's say, Shanghai to visit my friend. At this point in time in my life, I'm not at a place where I'm financially stable enough to just up and go and be like, I want to leave now. What do I do? Unfortunately, I think it's a dream that I'll have to push to the side for a while. Like not push to the side like it's never going to happen, but focus on solving my immediate problem, which would be getting a job, getting that financial stability, save up people. You really don't know what an emergency fund would do for you. And I'm saying it because the only reason I'm still able to be so calm at this point is because of my emergency fund. Save up and then from then apply. Like there's no need to tell yourself no when they haven't told you no yet. And if someone tells you no at the first time in this type of situations, they reject your visa application, you can always apply again if you really want to, or you could decide to go to another country. Now, this is how I would solve this particular problem. Do I really believe that there's a perfect example or a way to live my life in order not to regret everything at all? No. I think it's just to try your best to make sure that you are not treating yourself less importantly, you're treating your dreams and your desires less importantly because you're trying to live life and fit into society and just like do it right, so to say. I don't think there's a perfect way to do it because I'm looking back at the person who was sick and said, I haven't lived my life until I thought I was dying. So I don't think there's a perfect way to do it. But what I think is perhaps taking myself out every weekend or every day. If I think there's something interesting, I could look out, like check by myself, be more proactive in order to see things that are happening around me. Volunteer, go to a museum, try out, a new club, go out with friends, travel to like a city nearby, just book a stay and explore a little bit. Do things, buy things for yourself, be smart, buy things for yourself, treat yourself nicely. This is really important. Now I want to mention something. I feel like I'm developing a new habit right now that I'm really proud of. You could tell me like if it's something to be proud of or not, or if there are underlying parts of it that should be concerning. So whenever I start thinking of myself in a negative light, or like I'm not really happy with myself, like maybe I look at myself in the morning and I'm like, oh my god, your face is so puffy, oh my god, why do you look like that? Or like there are so many ways you could look at yourself and not like yourself. There are so many things you could think about yourself and feel inadequate about. Whenever I start thinking like that, I've started this new habit where it's like I treat myself better in that moment. If you see me doing more steps in my skincare routine, exercising more than usual, pampering myself, doing like my gua sha, like putting my face in a bath of cold water, the whole morning routine just extends to over an hour, it's probably because I'm not feeling my best. Now, I have like a basic routine that I do, of course, but then like whenever I started feeling like not my best, I just try to take care of myself even much more at that point in time. And it's not necessarily that I'm taking care of myself because I want to alter what I feel bad about. Like let's say I feel puffy in the morning and I'm like, I don't like the way I look this morning. Then I start the puffing and doing gua sha, massages, compresses. I'm not doing it because I don't want to look puffy that morning. That doesn't sound very convincing. But stay with me. Why I'm doing it, because that's not the only thing I'm doing. I'm basically going to do like a lot of other things. Do my makeup, dress up my eyes, speak to myself kindly that day. That's like a part of the things to do. I'm doing all of this because I want to treat myself kindly in this empfindliche moment. Empfindlich. Sensitive in this sensitive moment, in this moment where I feel so sensitive and like an egg. I want to like pamper myself and treat myself kindly. It's kind of like someone is shouting at you and then you treat yourself kindly, like protect yourself, protect your peace, take care of yourself. And I found that this is a really perfect way to deal with it for me so far. And so I guess in a way, not waiting for your life to begin could also be like treating yourself even when you feel nice about yourself, not just when you feel bad about yourself. Every single day, treating yourself kindly. Take that extra 10 minutes to floss and brush before you go to bed. Please, please, please. Take that extra time in the shower to do a body scrub. Use a second body gel. Take that extra time after you come out of the bath to moisturize your body, to spray some perfume. Take that extra time to make sure you decorate your bed, make it cozy. Take that extra time when you're going out in the morning to speak to yourself nicely. We cannot be perfect, and we really do not have the perfect way to live or to be. Unfortunately, I have to let you know that we cannot be perfect. And being imperfect, I think, is perfect. Because imagine we're all perfect. That would mean there has to be a standard and we have to be all the same. And that means the way we should live our lives would all have to be the same. Because there's, something perfect and that's like the perfect standard. But being imperfect and just trying your best, and I hope none of you ever get sick out there, and I hope I also don't get sick, and I hope that we can just find a way to enjoy ourselves in the moment. Hopefully I haven't rambled on and on and on for a long time, but you get the point. Okay then, I'm tired. I'm trying not to curse nowadays. There was a point in time when I didn't used to curse at all. And then all of a sudden, I just started cursing. So nowadays, I'm trying not to. I was about to, but I'm so freaking tired. See you guys soon.